Hello everyone, welcome to Accounting 312. In this video, we will talk about Chapter 10, the handout. Basically, it's statistics and the regression analysis. So if you read the textbook, if you already watched the videos, you should know there are just some different things to know. First is some concepts, right? So you know what's the meaning of coefficient, correlation coefficient, what's the meaning of goodness or fit, those things. And then second thing, we said, once you have the regression model, y equals to beta 1, 0 plus beta 1, x1, beta 2, x2, you can have more independent variable. So this is dependent variable, this is independent variable. This is intercept, this is, we call it coefficient. So you need to know those things, and then statistically significant, the last thing is how do we make a prediction, right? How do we make prediction? Once you have this model, how can we use this model? How can we use this model? So I'm going to work out these handout questions with you. They are all, I think they are either from CPA questions or CMA questions. So let's get started. The first one said the coefficient of correlation between two variables is 0, right? So coefficient of correlation, this is the R. It can be -1 to +1. So -1 means strongly negatively correlated. +1 means strongly positively correlated. But if it's 0, then there is no relationship, right? So you still just, you will have a random, like all the study, all the dots, they will be very random. So that's the answer, right? It's random. There is no correlation. There is no correlation. So let's say, what should I do? Like eating chocolate, we still say here like a chocolate, and then your accounting 312, the exams. Doesn't mean you eat more chocolate, you will have a higher grade or lower grade or whatever. But if it's negative, let's say it's -0.8, it's -0.8, and then, sorry, I should put -0.8, then that means it's strongly negatively correlated. So if it's +8, that means it's strongly positively correlated, right? So I believe you should kind of got this from statistics classes or other classes. Question 2, CPA question. Question 2, CPA question. So you have this one. We kind of just kind of talk this, right? It's strongly negatively correlated. Income level increase, and then the sales, so it's a strongly relation. You can find out that it's a negative relation. So what will be the correlation coefficient? You first definitely it's a negative. Definitely it's negative. So you can never choose C or D. But how about choice A or B? Correlation coefficient can only be from -1 to +1. So your answer has to be choice B. It can never be larger than +1 or smaller than -1. Okay, next one. Another type of question I may ask you if we have this type of question in the exam is how do we pick the best model? So you have all these cost drivers, and then what will be used for our regression. We talk about the parts you want to look, right? We want to look at the R-square. We said the larger is better. We want to see the p-value of coefficient, which is smaller is better. Our cutoff is 5%. And then you kind of also want to see the coefficient is kind of larger is better. Why? That means it has a stronger impact on your dependent variable. So you look at all this R-square, you found out that this one has the highest R-square. We didn't talk about standard error. I do not really expect you to know this. But from the name, you can know it's an error. So some students told me, hey, I didn't know, but I know error is a bad thing. So we want this to be smaller. So combining these two parts, you should use the type of packing. Next one, question 4, said blah, 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 2 different cost driver are this, and then we got this regression, so how do we got this output, how do we get the regression mode? One more time, we have 2 cost driver, but we want to get the one with a higher p-value, higher r-square value. So from there we got higher r-square value. And then you also said, we kind of talked that we said we want the coefficient to be stronger. Why? Okay, I'll tell you why. So if this is the model, actually this is the model. So you write it y equals to intercept 2,500 plus 5.0 and then machine hour, right? Machine hour. So that means whenever your machine hour increases by 1 hour, your predicted cost will increase by $5. From here, the regression model y equals to 4,600 plus 2.6 direct material weight. Okay, so that means whenever you have 1 increase in the material weight, that will increase the predicted cost by 2.6. So you can say this impact is weaker than this impact. This will increase the predicted by $5. This just increase the predicted by $2.6. So we want the coefficient also to be higher. But the main thing is the R-square. The main thing is the R-square. So our answer will be choice A. Next one, question 5, coefficient of determination, R-square. We said, what's the meaning of R-square? Basically, it's a percentage of variance in the dependent variable, which is y, can be explained by the independent variable, the variance. So it's just higher means your model can explain the y more, which is what we want. Okay, so which is what we want. Next one, question 6. CPA question also said multiple regression differ from simple regression is straightforward. We just have a more independent variable, right? We have a more, okay. So yeah, we have a more independent variable. We have a more x. X is independent variable. We just, no matter what regression, you just have 1 dependent variable, which is y. Question 7, CMA question, said your regression said coefficient equals 2.8. How do we interpret that? So that means 1 unit change of x will cause the change of predicted y by 0.8, increase by 0.8. So let's say, I make up a number, let's say y equals to 0.8 times your study hour, okay? So this is the point, this is your accounting 312, the total points. So that means whenever you study 1 more extra hour for the class, your predicted points will increase by 0.8 points. I know it's not really encouraging, but just make up this number. So some keyword is on average. So every dollar of advertising result in 0.8 of additional sales. So that's the answer we got for choice A. Okay, I didn't talk about why B or C or D, or like, well, I didn't talk about other choices, why they are wrong. So let me know if you have any question. Talking about that, you know, I would say, hey, make sure you also know why others are wrong. Because I may change some wrong choices to correct choices and then put in the exam, you know. Question 8, talking about that, intercept. So let's say y equals 322,897 plus, you know, I just still make up a number 0.8 study hour. So that means this is still the points. So that means if you don't put any effort, your study hour is 0. If study hour is 0, 0.8 times 0 will be 0. So that means even you don't do anything, you still will get this many points. So when x equals to 0, the value of y will be this much. Okay, next one. We are almost done. Oh yeah. Question 9. CMA question. CMA question. So you have this output. So the first thing you want to write is the regression equation, right? Y equals to intercept 5.23 plus coefficient 1.54 times x. Now the question told you very specifically your x will be 10. So your x will be 10. We replace x with the number 10. So it's still 5.23 plus 1.54 times 10 now. So it's 5.23 plus 15.4. That gives me 20.63. Am I right? Oh my goodness. Perfect, right? Perfect. Question 9, we are done. Question 10, talking about similar things, So you got intercept, you got this coefficient. You want to write your regression y equals 684.65 plus 7.2884 and then time x. Now, you know your x is the maintenance hour, and we already said you already incurred 420 machine hours. So you replace x with 420. So give me a second. I want to work this one with you. So 7.2884 times 420 gives me this number. But I still need to add the coefficient. I need to add the intercept 684.65. I got the number 3746. 3746. Oh my goodness, we are so smart, right? Okay, so we got this one, and then we have the last one. CPA question. Regression said this y equals to this, and then standard error is this. We don't worry, R squared good. We just know it's good. And then the budgeted code is 100 units. What should we do now? I'll let you do it. You replace the x by 100. So y will be 90 times 100 instead of times x plus 45. So this is 9,000 plus 45 will be 9,045. We got it. I hope that's the right answer. So let me know if you have any question, if you have any concern. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.